Therefore, if you have any encouragement from being united with Christ, if any comfort from his love, if any common sharing in the Spirit, if any tenderness and compassion, then make my joy complete by being like-minded, having the same love, being one in spirit and in one mind. Do nothing out of selfish ambition or vain conceit. Rather, in humility, value others above yourselves, not looking to your own interests, but each of you to the interests of others. In your relationship with one another, have the same mindset as Christ Jesus, who being in the very nature of God, did not consider equality with God something to be used to his own advantage. Rather, he made himself nothing by taking the very nature of a servant, being made in human likeness, and being found in the appearance of man, he humbled himself by becoming obedient to death, even death on a cross. Therefore God exalted him to the highest place, and gave him the name that is above every name, that at the name of Jesus every knee should bow, in heaven and on earth and under the earth, and every tongue acknowledge that Jesus Christ is Lord, to the glory of God the Father. You can bring your offering forward in this next song.
Oh, Therefore, since we have such a hope, we are very bold. We are not like Moses, who had put a veil over his face to prevent the Israelites from seeing the end of what was passing away. But their minds were made dull, for to this day the same veil remains when the Old Covenant is read. It has not been removed, because only in Christ is it taken away. Even to this day, when Moses is read, a veil covers their hearts. But whenever anyone turns to the Lord, the veil is taken away. Now the Lord is the Spirit, and where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is freedom. And we all who with unveiled faces contemplate the Lord's glory are being transformed into his image with ever-increasing glory, which comes from the Lord, who is the Spirit.
Step out of the shadows, come out of the grave, break into the wild, and don't be afraid. Run into wide open spaces, graces waiting for you. Dance like the weight has been lifted. Graces waiting. When the Spirit of the Lord, there is freedom, there is freedom. When the Spirit of the Lord, there is freedom, there is freedom. No matter where you go, where you is everything. Oh, the Spirit is here and there is freedom. There is freedom. Bring all of your scars. Come back to communion. Come back to the start. Oh, run into wide open spaces. Things like the way has been lifted. Breathing while you were created. Faces waiting. When the Spirit of the Lord, there is freedom, there is freedom. When the Spirit thieves will come confess and know that you are holy. Will know that you are holy. And all will sing out hallelujah, and we will cry out hallelujah. All the hearts who are content, and all who feel unworthy, all who hurt with nothing left, know that you are holy, and all will sing out hallelujah, and we will cry out hallelujah, and all will sing out hallelujah, and we will cry out Shout it, go on and scream it from the mountains. Go on and tell it to the masses that He is God. And shout it, go on and scream it from the mountains. Go on and tell it to the masses that He is God. And shout it.
Good morning. Oh, you made my day. All right, Kevin has got an announcement, a reminder about the MDS thing that's coming up. I don't know. Who's running the camera? Is this... Camera's not on? Okay. Does not matter. All right, well, we're going to put it right there then. Also, while he is doing an announcement, I need a scribe to write things up here. Anybody? Naya? Katie, do you want? Would you like to come, Katie? Okay, come on up. Oh, they'll be fine. They'll be fine. You can do what? I don't need you to scribe. I had other volunteers. All right, Naya. Or you can watch Katie's children and okay. Ouch. Boy, that is rough. All right, Kevin.
All right. Good morning, once again. Just another announcement for Mennonite Disaster Services. They will be here November 13th, which is a Saturday. They will be setting up in the basement for their annual meeting. I am soliciting volunteers to kind of help with some of this. They're expecting about 30 to 40 people to attend here from all over the area. So we'll need help setting up tables and chairs either that Thursday night or Friday prior to. They will be here Saturday morning, roughly about 7:45 as they start trickling in here. Probably going to start soliciting Miss Regina back there for some donuts. We will buy them if we can get a hookup on that. Probably need help with probably making coffee and maybe just some basic food services and stuff in the basement. They will be reimbursing us for whatever we provide for them. So probably fruits, vegetables, things like that they'll need. Might also need an IT person to kind of help set up something in the basement for like a projector or a computer or something dealing with their Wi-Fi. So I'm not sure that's a possibility. But I will need help getting things set up prior to their attendance here. They will be here until about 1 o'clock on that Saturday. So it's Saturday, November 13th. So again, setup would be the night before, the day before, 2 days before, just to kind of help things get prepped early. Yes, sir. I'm not too sure about that. I'll take your word on it because you probably know more than I do. They will be just getting these catered. So again, whatever we buy or whatnot, they'll reimburse us. But Lawrence Matthews is going to be contacting Lee's ahead of time and seeing about getting food catered to us. Please, any questions, feel free to email me, text me, call me. I know you will, Tommy. Love you, Tommy. All right, that's it. Thank you.
We just want to clarify, Mennonite Disaster Service is not coming because of us. Like, we're not the disaster. So all right, we're going to move this over so the people on this side can see too. All right, you good? All right. So we want to welcome each of you here this morning. It's good to see you guys. So it's been a few weeks since we've been here. I haven't intentionally been avoiding you guys. Well, actually, maybe it was a little bit intentional, but there was reasons for it. So 2 weeks. I know, but I don't know why it's crackling. Can I not move? So 2 weeks ago, thankfully, things plural. So 2 weeks ago, I had the privilege of going out to Colorado again to meet with my group of foster and adoptive dads, which is always a good time. We get to go up in the mountains at about 9,000 feet where the air is very thin, and we get to just sit around and talk and kind of hold each other up and spur each other on to do better things. So that was great. Colorado is beautiful. That drive from Denver to Colorado Springs when we can go is wonderful. So, and also I generally come back a better person because of it. So, and then last week we got to go to Texas to see a good friend of mine, good friend of mine's oldest child getting married. So if you know the Woods, Mr. Larry Wood had his oldest child got married, so that was good. It was nice to see friends and actually some people I haven't seen for 20 plus years. So it was very nice to go catch up. So and kind of through some of these things and some of these experiences, I feel like the Spirit has kind of been speaking to me a little bit, and as generally the case, it's part of what I share up here is what I believe God is doing in my own life. So. So today we're just going to, hopefully this will be fairly short, but apparently it's time to get a new cord for the thing. So hopefully today will be fairly short, but one of the things, I'm going to switch over to regular mic, I guess. It's going to be that kind of morning. Feels like it's coming apart. All right, so I'm just going to share a little bit about that. And for some of you, this is probably not going to apply. So you can just humor me and listen and think how you have it all figured out. Because some of you do. I mean, some of you, this is not something you struggle with, and that's okay. So this is not for you. But I'm guessing some of you, this is something that you probably, because you're human, struggle with a little bit. And like me, don't have it all figured out yet. But here's what I want to start out with. Naya, you're up. All right. So one thing, we're going to just make a list, and this is a time to be, I shouldn't say vulnerable, but you can if you want. So we're just going to talk about things I want. All right. So this could be things like material stuff, things in your life that you want changed, maybe something you want to start happening. Something you want to add to your life, subtract from your life. Maybe these are things like if I just get this thing or if this thing just happens, then my life will be better type stuff. All right? And maybe I'll be happy if this happens. So we're going to start out, let's start over here because there's a lot of wants here. We're going to start out with corn dogs because that's what's on Nora's list is corn dogs because Nora loves corn dogs, right, Nora? Corn dogs are amazing, right? Yes. I was reminded of that this morning. Okay. Also, we're going to put here, you have to put do we need bullet points or not? Okay. All right. Maybe just put a dash. No, what? I was thinking more of an asterisk. No, what? Okay, sorry. All right, so we like corn dogs. What else? Motivation. Go ahead, Naya, put motivation down. I will raise my hand to that. You want a better body? Like yours or your husband's? What? You want a supermodel body? Okay, put that. You got to write this down. That's your job. You're the scribe. Supermodel body. All right. Well, this escalated quickly. We went from corn dogs. All right. It might be related. Quiet brothers. Well, Heather says she wants a filter. Do you really want a filter or do you need a filter? Okay, your family wants you to have a filter. All right. Listening. Sometimes I have. It's kind of like taking all your kids to the grocery store or not out. This will be a good idea, you think, and then. Okay. All right. Somebody else. Anybody else? Jason. What? A house with a pole barn. Yes. Word on that. Do you want the pole barn where you can put stuff in it or just messy? I have one of those. Oh, there you go. Tommy wants the Steelers to be good at football. What? No, wait. You want raise? A raise. A raise. Oh, I was just joking about that. But fun. All right, put a raise. All right. Billy wants a college degree. A raise, like a raise in pay. I hope Tommy's not trying to raise somebody, but like maybe so. All right. Anybody else? Time. I'm sure that's not all. World, oh, thank you, world peace. Wow. Well, a race car? All right. I did get to ride in a new C8 Corvette last week with my friend, and they're fast. What? Yes. Respect. Again, is that? Never mind. Miracle. You want peace in your house or like world peace too? Inner peace. Not in our house. Oh. No, I can't do it. No. Tommy says Jesus. All right, anybody else want to venture out? On a serious note, like anything else that like you're just kind of longing for? Retirement? More money. Rest. Peace of mind. Family time. I thought you were going to say without kids, and I'm like, that's. You want pets? You have like a zoo at your house. Pets. Huh? All right. This section is conspicuously quiet except for the world peace comment, I think. A new me. Put a new me. Anybody else back here? Dawn. A car without French fries over it. A car without French fries, crowns in the speaker grates, and what was chocolate in the cup holders, yes. Siding fixed, yes. The new Xbox? I haven't had it. Is it good? Oh, you don't know? Anybody else? The older crowd back here, Dick, Sue, Bill Barb, nothing? You just want us to get on with it? Is that it? Okay. Barb's shaking her head. All right. All right, you done? Great job. You did good. We're going to stop there. We could keep going. So we're just going to leave that list right there for a little bit. So in our group in Colorado, we were asked a question. It wasn't just me. It was the whole group. And the question, and they basically gave you a question. They wanted you to fill in the blank. And it was something to that. It's like, I have lived my life believing I need this to be happy. All right? And this was the fall in the blank. So I believe I have lived all of my life, for most of my life, believing I need this. So to be happy, content, fulfilled. And they wanted you to fill in the blank. And this is one of those things where this is a group where there's really no point, trying to be all super spiritual and stuff, because most of the guys there are going through things that they're kind of past the shallow answers at that point in their life. And so, and this is not something that we had to say out loud, but for me, my answer to that was a little embarrassing, but again, being real with myself, my answer to that was basically everything that I don't have. Because for a lot of my life, and it's not that I don't have good things in my life. I have, and I mean on paper, I've got a lot. So, it's not on paper. I do. So like I have a good family. No, believe it or not, I have a good family. I have great kids. I have a house. I've got a little land. I've got that pole barn. It doesn't have vehicle lifts. It's just mostly trash in it. But a green tractor that doesn't hardly run, but that's okay. A nearly new pickup truck. So there's a lot of things, but yet it's this feeling that we're just not there yet. All right, so for me, I'm a planner, I'm a doer, and there's always like when you think about this list here right there, there's always something else that I am striving for it's not something that I will consciously say normally, but it was just like when you start to think about it, like what is the goal here? And you hear people say, you're so concerned about what the future is going to look like that you completely miss today. And so for me, when I started really thinking about that, that always striving to get more, and it's not just a thing, but it's either more rest or more money, or I want stuff paid off, or you want your family to look this certain specific way, and you want your life, and you want the perfect job, and all of this stuff. And we spend, and I've spent a lot of my life, and I'm getting better at it, but a lot of my life trying to get things that I don't have, whether it's the situation I'm in or whatever that is. If I could just get here, or if these things will just happen, then I'll be happy. But unfortunately, I don't think it really works that way. And so my question is what is, if I can just get there, and I kind of use the parentheses for there, if we could just get there, then we'll be happy. And my question is, where do we come up with there a little bit? Like why are we, when we think, and some of these things are good, like these are good things, but like why do we need a certain version of there to get where we need to be? And I think part of it is we tend to often have these unrealistic, and I call them sometimes even stupid expectations of what life should really look like. And I think part of that is because if you look at the world around us, how many of you still watch TV? Anybody? Or social media or anything with advertisements, right? We spend most of that, a lot of that time, being bombarded with like basically commercials saying you can't be happy unless you have this, right? So you can't be happy unless you have this supermodel body, or you can't be happy without your all-American family with your white picket fence and stuff of that nature, your 2.5 kids and all of that. And I think that we let ourselves, we listen to things that ultimately aren't truth when it comes to make us happy. But honestly, I guess a little bit, I'm just going to bring another thing up here, is I think for those of us who have grown up in the church for most of our lives, we also get a lot of pressure about what we're supposed to look like as a Christian. Well, if you love Jesus, you would do this. Or if you were a good Christian, you would do this. And most of us, we get it sometime from our parents, right? Well, this is what it looks like to love others, or this is what it looks like. So sometimes we get it from our parents, sometimes we get it from the church, and sometimes I think it's things that we often take from actually good sound teaching, but because of the way we receive it in our mind, because of some of our own baggage, we end up taking that and twisting it to something that wasn't even meant to be. But I think we have these unrealistic expectations of what things should look like. And I'll use an example of that from a church standpoint, all right? So I remember when I was a kid, there was this guy that I highly respected in the church. He was an older gentleman, and they were talking about, like, spiritual habits a little bit, I guess we could call that, which I'm a huge proponent of spiritual habits. But he was a morning person, all right? And how many of you are morning people? Anybody? I know Lloyd has generally been a little... What, Philip, you're a morning person? I knew there was something I should be concerned about. But, so he would get up in the morning, he would get up, and he would do his devotions at 6 o'clock every morning, and that was just his thing, that was his time with God. And it was kind of set up as, like, this was, like, because he was a very godly man, like, well, this is what you've got to do, and that's how I kind of internalized it, which I don't think that was meant to be what he was trying to say at all. But like, well, if I don't get up at 6 o'clock in the morning to do daily devotionals, then I'm really not where I need to be with Jesus. How many of you like to be up at 6 o'clock? How many of you think clearly at 6 o'clock in the morning? I don't. You don't think clearly, period. All right? So, but there was a lot of almost guilt in my life for a long time because of that, because of just expectations of what I even put on myself from stuff. And I realize that's not really, there's nowhere that I see in the Bible that it says you're supposed to get up at 6 o'clock and do daily devotions, because at 8 o'clock at night doesn't work. So, you know, when we think of not being there yet and lacking all of these things that will make us happy, a lot of it is just unrealistic expectations. And also, I think some of it, like, honestly, sometimes part of it is when we feel like we're not there yet, and I just want to acknowledge this, is for some of us, things just kind of suck. Like our job situation, you know, some of the family struggles we have with what our kids go through, and you know, I got to go to a funeral this week of a family member who, you know, had to lay his 71-year-old father at rest. Like that's, like, objectively, that's not fun. That's hard. And, you know, to see the grief and stuff with that, I understand that that's not exactly where we want to be. But my question is, like, anyone else ever been in that same place where you kind of feel like you're not there yet? You're always striving for something else to be happy. And I think that's one of the things that I feel like, for me, it's this whole striving thing where you just got to do more, and you just got to try harder. And, you know, if you just get to that point, if you just get to whatever your ideal utopia is, then you can be happy and things will be okay and life will be good. But what is the danger in that? You're never satisfied. What else? Once you get there, you can lose it all. Trusting yourself instead of God. You're not enjoying what you have around you. And ultimately, are you happy? For most of us, I think the answer would be no. So I was doing some research on this, and I found an article by a guy named Steve Taylor in Psychology Today, and he just said it better than I think that I can, so I'm going to read it. I have no idea who this guy is, but he has a PhD, so I'm guessing he's smarter than I am. And it says this, why does wanting make us so unhappy? There are a number of reasons. First of all, and most obviously, wanting creates dissatisfaction with our present state. It becomes impossible for us to appreciate or cherish our present state because we feel a sense of lack and anticipate a better situation. Secondly, wanting makes us less present-centered. It takes us out of the present and reorients us in the future. Being present, or being mindful, naturally lends itself to well-being, whereas being overly future-oriented leads itself to discontent. Wanting also creates frustration because we don't manage to satisfy our desires, or at least not in the form which we envisioned. Our expectations are often unrealistic, and worst of all, wanting leads to more wanting. We often have a naive belief that one day we'll reach a place of fulfillment where all our desires are satisfied and we don't need or want anything else. But this rarely happens. And what usually happens is that the satisfaction of one desire brings a short spell of satisfaction, but then leads to another desire. Wanting is a process that never ends, and it easily spirals out of control. And then he had a quote from a French author, and I can't even pronounce it. It's Alexis de somethingville. But he observed it in 1831 while traveling through the New World of America. He says, "I have seen the freest and best educated of men in the happiest circumstances the world can afford, yet it seemed that a cloud hung on their brow, and they appeared serious and almost sad, because they never stop thinking of the good things they have not yet got." Just think about that a little bit. Is that where we're at? And it comes to this whole issue of being kind of satisfied with where we're at, and I think the word for that is contentment. And I'm not saying we don't strive for better things. But I think contentment is something that a lot of us miss out on because we're always wanting the next thing or wanting something more. And I think when we do that, we lose sight and we miss out on the life that our Creator has for us when we lack contentment. And there's actually quite a few verses about this in the Scriptures. Paul talks about it, the author of Hebrews talks about it, Proverbs talks about it, and we're going to go through a few of those. So I don't know if we can put those on the screen or not, which I have blocked for about half of you. I'll move this over, maybe. All right. The first one comes from Philippians 4:10, and this is, I'm going to read this in the Message. It says, and Paul, this is Paul talking to the people in Philippi, I believe. Go figure. Said, I'm glad in God, far happier than you would ever guess. Happy that you're again showing such strong concern for me, not that you have ever quit praying and thinking about me. You've just had no chance to show it. Actually, I don't have a need or I don't have a sense of needing anything personally. I've learned how to be quite content, whatever my circumstances. I'm just as happy with little as with much, and with much as with little. And I found the recipe for being happy, whether full or hungry, hands full or hands empty. Whatever I have, wherever I am, I can make it through anything in the one who makes me who I am. And I think that obviously is the one who gives me strength. In 1 Timothy it says, but godliness with contentment is great gain. For we brought nothing into the world, and we can take nothing out of it. But if we have food and clothing, we will be content with that. Those who want to get rich fall into temptation, in a trap, and into many foolish and harmful desires that plunge people into ruin and destruction. For the love of money is the root of all kinds of evil, and some people, eager for money, have wandered from the faith and pierced themselves with many griefs. Again, it's just this picture of the difference between contentment and always looking for something more. In Proverbs, says, a heart at peace gives life to the body, but envy rots the bones. All right? There's a passage in James that says, where do you think all these appalling wars and quarrels come from? Do you think they just happen? Think again. They come about because you want your own way and fight for it deep inside yourselves. You lust for what you don't have and are willing to kill to get it. You want what isn't yours and will risk violence to get your hands on it. And I think if you would look around our country right now, that you would see a lot of people that are kind of in that position. You want your own way and you will fight for it deep inside yourselves, and you lust for what you don't have. And then the last one is in Hebrews chapter 13, verse 5. It says, keep your lives free from the love of money and be content with what you have, because God has said, never will I leave you, and never will I forsake you. This is my challenge for us this morning, all right? And this is what it's hard to do sometimes in our current situation, because it takes sometimes us getting away from the day-to-day of life to actually challenge ourselves on this. And this is why I think the disciplines are good. And for me, one of these things is solitude. Solitude and that self-examination, which we talked about a few months ago when we went through some of the spiritual practices, is to ask yourself, number one, am I lacking contentment? Where are you at in life right now? Do you feel content with where you're at? Or do you feel uneasy because you feel like you've got a whole list of things over here that you need before you can be content? Am I unhappy due to always wanting what I don't have? And I think we need to be a little careful there, because it's one of those things that sometimes we can call our contentment complacency. Oh, I'm just happy with where I'm at. And I think that there's a fine line in there somewhere, because we can become complacent and not listen to the Spirit. And I think the Spirit also always prompts us to look more like Jesus. But am I unhappy due to wanting what I don't always have? And my last question for you, and I think Beth is the one that pointed this out, am I missing out on the here and now because of what might be? You know, I've and this is, I gotta be careful here. I'm gonna sound like an old person. You know, Mr. Sutton, I like to consider myself not over the hill yet, but that's not really true. But when we look at our lives, and this is partly coming from the funeral I went to, and so it was a Mennonite funeral. And for those of you how many of you have been in a funeral where they have the very long the car train at the end? I don't know, what do you call that? Procession at the end, where you all go to the cemetery, you get a little flag, unless you're like the Slagles who didn't choose not to get a flag and they were at the end, but whatever. One of the comments that and it's probably honestly one of the longest ones I've ever seen in my life. I mean, it was a bigger church. But I asked one of my kids, what do you think that meant? And their answer was something to the point of like, he must have been a pretty good guy and loved others because he had that many friends. And I look at that, and from what I know about the gentleman, that was fairly true. But I look at my own life, it's like, and from, he wasn't a perfect man by any stretch, but he invested in people. And he seemed to somewhat, especially until the end, live in the moment and be content where he was. And he was always there for people. And my question is how often do I miss out on that because I'm chasing after something that I think I'll be happy when I get there, instead of being content with where I'm at. And we had a song, and I might post it later to Facebook. I gotta check some copyright things, but I wanted to share the last few lyrics on it because it was fairly, it was fairly instrumental to us. And if you ever heard a bunch of pretty, I should say roughneck guys, because there's guys of all walks, like they're singing a song a cappella because we couldn't get the internet to work around this. It was pretty moving, but basically, it was by a gentleman named Sean McConnell, which I had not been introduced before, and I'm not a huge music guy, but not a Christian that I know of, but I'm a believer that all truth is God's truth. But the chorus goes something like this. It says, "The world is always going crazy, and we get lost inside the fear." It says, "Between the what was and what may be, don't forget to remember you're here." And that's my prayer for us. Like, wherever you're at in life, like, don't forget to remember you're here. And I know for some of you that here is kind of sucky. But there is still can be joy and contentment in the middle of that. And let's not lose out on what God has given us because we're always looking for something we don't have. Let's pray. Dear Heavenly Father God, I just come before you and confess that on behalf of myself and even us as a group, sometimes we miss out on the joy that you have for us and the life that you have given us because we are always wanting something that we don't have. Lord, sometimes it's easy to lose sight of the gifts that you've given us and to become unhappy because we don't have what other people have or even what we think we need. Lord, I ask that you would just convict us where we need to be convicted and speak to us and let us hear. And Lord, show us how to be content with what we have. You have blessed us with so many things. May we remember to be thankful for it. And may we remember to be present here with ourselves and with our families. That may we fully grasp on to the hope that you have given and the life that you have given us. I pray these things in your name. Amen.
please stand and sing with us as we go out of here. A lot of that stuff on the board can kind of be summed up with one thing: it's more. Always want more. And talked about how we want to get to a place where we have more or whatever. And that place, there is a place, and it's where God is moving and what God is doing in our own lives. And so, where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is freedom. And so that's what we're going to close out with here. Step out of the shadows, come out of the grave, break into the wild, and don't be afraid. Run into wide open spaces, graces waiting for you. Dance like the weight has been lifted. Graces waiting. Where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is freedom, there is freedom. Where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is freedom, there is freedom. Come out of the door, just as you are, into the fullness of His love. For the Spirit is here, let there be freedom. Let there be freedom. All of your burdens, bring all of your scars. Come back to communion. Come back to the start. Whoa. Run into wide open spaces. Dance like the weight has been lifted. Breathe in what you were creating. Graces waiting. When the Spirit of the Lord is there is freedom. There is freedom. When the Spirit of the Lord is there is freedom. There is freedom. Come out of the dark, just as you are, into the fullness of His love. For the Spirit is here, let there be freedom. Let there be freedom. Chains will fall, prison shake at the sound of Jesus' name. Lives made whole, hearts awake at the sound of Jesus' name. Oh, chains will fall.